Hi, this is Michael. Today I'm very excited to have Irene here, and we kind of had a conversation about her new book. So first of all, I would like to let Irene to do an introduction, if you want.
Thank you so much, Michael, for having me on here and the opportunity to share my story and my book. As an introduction to myself and what inspired me to write my book, my name is Irene. I am a Chinese American, and my partner, my husband, is Korean American, and we have a 2-year-old son. Ever since our son was born, we have always wanted to pass down our language and our culture to him. My parents came to the U.S., immigrated here from China when I was very young, and as first-generation parents, their focus for me was to learn English, to assimilate into American culture, and to build a secure and financial future. Yeah. Their focus wasn't so much on teaching me Chinese and passing down our culture. But now, as I find myself as a parent, I find that I have this strong desire to preserve our culture and pass it down to my son, because I realize that if I don't, it cannot live on. And as a second-generation Asian American, I'm not fluent in Chinese, and I find that it's very difficult to find books and resources that my husband and I can use to teach my son. So that was what inspired me to create my bilingual books.
Yeah, that sounds really good, because I had some friends, including me, it's the same. We're trying to, teach them the language, but also the culture. It's just a lot of things to break down, and then really trying to start with a book or anything. But this is really exciting. So how about the COVID and everything? Did it had any impact on your book?
It did a lot, actually. This was an idea that was born out of COVID. When COVID-19 happened, my son was in daycare, and his daycare closed, so I found myself taking care of him full-time at home and realizing how fast he was picking up language, and that I needed to find resources to teach him Chinese and Mandarin. And it was extremely difficult to find. Actually, the statistic is that only 1% of all children's books are bilingual in the US.
Only 1%?
And out of the 1%, most are in Spanish. So it's extremely difficult to find Asian languages in the US. Wow. Another, I think, aspect that inspired me in this past year to create my project is, since COVID-19 happened, there has been an almost 2,000% rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans. And it's just very heartbreaking to see. So, I hope to increase representation of minorities and Asian Americans in children's literature, so that we can raise our future generation to be wiser and kinder.
Yeah, exactly. I think I participate in the Austin Start Asian Hate rally. I have some friends, Chuck, and then we just did the rally in Austin, the capital. Yeah. It's really, the calling us to do something, instead of just keeping silence. This is not a time we still keep silence.
Exactly.
But I really appreciate this book.
Actually, you remind me, if I may share, I received an email last night from someone who saw my books, and I wanted to share with you. You reminded me. I saved it on my phone.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to read a little bit of what he said. He reached out to me. He said, Good evening, Irene. My wife and I were just talking about your project this afternoon. We are both the first of our families to settle in this country, and I want to make sure our daughter preserves both sides and this new culture we're all exploring together. Seeing projects like this is incredibly encouraging in a country that seems increasingly determined not to have people like her exist in the first place. Yeah. So I saw that last night, and it just, it touched me and inspired me to keep on creating books
really
like
powerful
this.
words.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to your book. I think you have one or two here. So just before we show in the book, would you mind to just kind of like had a brief idea? What's the idea you were trying to design or create a book? What's the trigger to do that?
Yeah. So I wanted to create bilingual books in Asian languages, and I wanted to create it for all sorts of families, multicultural families like mine who may not be fluent but want to pass down our language to our kids. So I launched my first book, bilingual book, this week is available on Kickstarter, and it's titled My Favorite Gift. It follows a young girl, Coco, who's the protagonist. She's a spirited girl, and she spends her birthday around town with her parents.
Okay.
And the book showcases the value of family and loved ones. And the last page, Coco says, to see my family is my favorite gift of all, which is the title, My Favorite Gift.
That's
And
interesting.
it's available in Mandarin English and Hindi English.
Hindi English. Okay. So you have some demo here.
Yes, so
Okay.
this is a mock-up. It doesn't have all the pages, but
Okay, that's fine.
This is the Mandarin English version. And I can walk through some of the special features of the book because I was very intentional about the design and how families can learn language together. So first of all, if you can see, maybe we can do a close-up at the end of the video.
Yeah, we can do it later.
But every page has Mandarin, simplified Chinese, English, and Pinyin romanization to help non-native speakers, which is very important so that people like myself and my husband can read books in Chinese and other Asian languages to our kids.
Yeah.
It has story with beautiful illustrations, and then another special feature is that it has large vocabulary lift the flaps on each page alongside the story to teach vocabulary words in
So
a
this is
target
the character
language.
of
Yes, this is
vehicle.
teacher, so car, because right here Coco and her parents are right in the car, so it's these vocabulary flaps.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then another special feature is at the end of each storybook, there's a summary vocabulary table
Summary,
to help kids,
keywords.
the keywords to learn, and they can see here it's in Zhongwen, and then the picture image, and then English and Pinyin. And then, as your child advances and they actually start to read and maybe write, we have this summary vocabulary mural that has all of the words in the target language, but without the English and the illustrations, so you can really, kind of test them to see recognition and to write.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then a final important feature is that all books come with a free audiobook that's narrated by a native speaker, so that families can listen to the intonations of the native speaker and follow along with the book. So
this is another
this is
language.
the Hindi. Yeah, I'm starting with two languages, Mandarin, and this is Hindi. It's the same format.
That's really cool. Who is the illustrator?
The illustrator, I found her. She's in LA.
Oh,
she's in LA,
yeah, she did a really good job.
Yes, I really love her style. It's so bright and colorful and unique. Another feature is we wanted to portray an Asian American protagonist because I think it's so important for kids to see themselves in books. Growing up, I think it's extremely important. So we wanted to make her relatable to other Asian children.
Yeah. When I share your cover to my social media platform, everyone's like, "Wow, this cover looks really cool." Really, and then cute, and then you just. This is about Asian story. It's just really.
Yeah, we worked very hard on the illustrations to make sure that kids will really enjoy the book because we want to make language learning fun. Right? We want them to like the book so that they can learn the language and want to read it again and again. Yeah,
that's a great idea. So when we're talking about book, and then we just think about how are you gonna publish it? Is you gonna use convention publisher or what's your idea?
That's a very good question. So I learned so much about the publishing industry in the past year. There are two ways to publish a book. One is going and working, it's called traditional publishing.
Okay.
So you work with a traditional publisher and they hire an illustrator and they market the book for you. And I chose the second route, which is self-publishing.
Okay.
So I created a company called Spark Collection.
Oh, Spark Collection.
That will independently, you'll see the name of my company on our book, Spark Collection.
Okay.
And so I created this company to independently publish our books, primarily because I have more creative control of the final product.
Okay.
I wanted certain features of the book and I wanted it to look a certain way for our kids. So that's why I decided to self-publish it. But of course, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know.
It's one person that does everything, and I have to, spread the word. So thank you for helping me spread the word to
no problem.
families who may be interested in our book.
It's my pleasure because I really think that it's kind of like urgent need for those second generation parents in US. I think everyone trying to keep the tradition of their culture, but it's sometimes just either too busy or didn't had a thing to start it. I think this book is a good starting point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I actually spoke to a lot of families before I started writing the book, and that's what inspired me, because I was having these frustrations myself and these desires, and I realized that a lot of families like mine also have similar frustrations and desires to preserve our culture and our language.
Yeah.
So it's already inspired me so much hearing from getting these emails since launching the book a few days ago, and I hope to help many families in the future. And really, the mission is to make language learning fun and meaningful.
Yeah, it is really, really good. And I mean, for myself, I had kids. I probably gonna buy one, because I had the feeling that I want to let them learn Chinese and trying to know more about Chinese culture. But like I said, it's just like, where should I start it? It's like, should I just let them watch a TV show or use an app to learn it?
Yeah.
We did try that, but they cannot, pick up very quick.
Yeah,
especially when they're young.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this
you
is
brought
good.
up a very good point. So I was having this exact dilemma, because I wanted, my son to learn the language, but I said, do I introduce him to YouTube? But I feel, very guilty about it. And I think a lot of parents feel guilty about all the screen time already. And I think the research shows that, learning a language with others, being very interactive, is the best way. It's most effective to learn a language. And especially, I think the window to learn a language is actually quite large, which is a great opportunity for parents. There's a concept in Montessori education, if you're familiar with it. It's called a sensitive period for language. So the good news is, as parents, the sensitive language for language is very long. It's from 0 to 6 years plus. And at that time, children are laser focused on developing that skill. They want to learn it. They seek new words, new languages and phrases. So it's all about just providing those opportunities. And I think as busy parents, it's hard to find those engaging opportunities. So I hope outside of these books in the future, I can make more books and also non-book resources and playthings that can provide those opportunities.
I think from the reading book is a good starting point. They're trying to more interesting in those cultural or characters. If in Chinese, they will continue to read more book, or even if in the future when you can develop a game or anything, they'll be kind of like put into the world. And then
I think the best gift is to foster a love of reading, so then they can pick it up themselves and learn, teach themselves as they get older.
I mean, for us, we know that motivation is most important. You're trying to learn something, but for kids, if they start it, they will continue to do it. I think definitely. Okay. At last, I think I would like to say, if we were trying to support you, where can find your book? The Kickstarter is still going on?
Yes. So the Kickstarter launched this week. It will go on for 3 more weeks. So you have an opportunity to pre-order this book until July 23rd. That's the last day of the Kickstarter campaign. Hopefully Michael can share the link with you later with this video. It's available in Mandarin English and Hindi English. I think the best way to support it is to check out the campaign and to just share it with your friends, your colleagues, other families who would love this book. That's really the best way to support it.
I definitely will put the link under this YouTube video. They're gonna have a link, and then is it okay to put I think you have Instagram, right?
Yes.
I can put the Instagram
account
on there, so that
please follow us on Instagram. It helps to spread the word. The more engagement we
they had more questions, they can contact you on Instagram. They'll be perfect.
You can contact me.
Thank you very much for your coming to our show.
Michael. Thank you.
No problem.